on Tim Walters. You cannot use your other hand. Now watch, Kevin. He's pushing off Tim Walters, not allowing him to get to the ball. You cannot push off. You can use your body to protect the ball, but you cannot push off. Now, as a result, he's in position to lay the ball off to Mike Stankovic, who does some nice work at that far post, just getting it inside Diego Pace at the near post.
Well, the violation was clear, but it wasn't called. It was clear for about 15 yards down the field. There you see it. But both referees missed it. And Stomenkovic and Stankovic, try that one on for size, combined for the 4th goal for the Blast, and they have a 2-goal lead again.
You can use your body all night long throughout the entire game, Kevin, to protect the ball from the opponent. But in doing so, you cannot use your other hand to push away that defender. That's what occurred in that particular play.
So the Steamers find themselves trailing by 2 once more. Now they have a dangerous situation in the Baltimore zone. Inside, Cacciatore fanned on it. Draghi back for Cacciatore, a great save from Van Aaron. You won't see any better than that one.
Boy, that was an excellent save by Keith Van Aaron. That was a certain 3rd goal for the Steamers. Good work by Keith Van Aaron to make that save.
Cacciatore was given a second life after he fanned on the first cross. He made no mistake with the second one, but Van Aaron reached in there and plucked it out. It was a certain goal for St. Louis, but give Van Aaron all the credit.
That's Mike Stankovic as he scored that last goal for the Baltimore Blast, and he'll do well not to try that stunt again.
He should be thankful that there was a waiting friendly arm to gather him in. 5:27 left in the 3rd quarter, 4-2 Baltimore. And here comes Kunevec with a nice run over for Ercole. Ercole working against Bellinger, and Bellinger wins that battle. Here's Stomenkovic in midfield. He set up 2 goals for Baltimore. Goes right around Cacciatore. Now a shot. Slobo got a hand on it to follow. Knocked away by Draghi. Duran in his own end in trouble. He nearly lost it, and Stankovic is called for the foul.
Good work there by Don Draghi to cover up at the near post.
So the Steamers retain possession on the violation with 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Darryl Duran for St. Louis. Redmond Lane now back out there for St. Louis. He loses it, and here come the Blast again with Ercole. Ercole with Stankovic, tries to get it to him, and it's a little too far, and Redmond Lane is back there. The Blast working those manpower situations very well. And the foul, the whistle going against Baltimore. And I believe a 2-minute penalty is called as you look at Ken Cooper, called against Mike Stankovic. Let's take a look at it. The crowd doesn't like it.
Here's the play again. Good work by Ercole, Kevin. There you see he runs into all the open space. Now, but however, on the end result, he goes away from the goal, and Mike Stankovic not out deep enough. I should say not out far enough away. He came in too close to the goal, and in his overexuberance to get back into the play, he trips the Steamers player from behind, and he's whistled up for 2 minutes for tripping. So the Steamers have the man advantage with 4:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Steamer power play has clicked in the playoffs right at about the same efficiency as in the regular season, 31%. Baltimore, however, has yielded just 4 goals and 33 power play attempts against them in the playoffs. That's just 12% efficiency. So that's brutal. Paul Kitson with the steal. Here comes Kitson. McEwen trying to race back to cover him. And Kitson has to turn it back. And now McEwen takes him down, and the trip goes against the Steamers. McEwen, Pesa, Ebert, Duran, and Walters out there for the Steamers in the power play.
Kitson famous for short-handed goals when he played with the New York Arrows.
Here's Whitman, who nearly got one himself. McAvan with the follow. McAvan, Whitman, Kitson, and Machia out there for Baltimore. You'd think they were on the power play. They've had the better of the first 18 seconds of it. And if Whitman doesn't fan on that, he's got a goal.
That's right, Kevin. You mentioned the fact that the Steamers have been playing well with their man advantage unit. They have, and the key has been they've been moving the ball quicker.
Here's Kitson for McAvan. McAvan now loses it. Ebert trying to beat him to the ball, and he does so. Now Slobo moving out. 4:12 left in the quarter. 1.5 minutes left in the 2-minute penalty. McEwen now. There is Kitson. He got a piece of it. And here they come again. Here come the Blast. McAvan moving it up for Kitson. Kitson racing in on goal. But he's being shadowed in the corner. He's still got the ball. He scores! This place has erupted.
That almost seemed inevitable, didn't it? As soon as the blast went down by one man, as you mentioned and pointed out so accurately, who's on the power play? Well, Paul Kitson, watch how he digs this ball out of the near corner. Slobo wondering whether she should go out or not. Now here's Kitson, just puts it by number 7, Darryl Duran. Here's another excellent view of that same play. Paul Kitson, looking back as if he's going to lay the ball off, decides to have a go on his own. And that's a 5th goal for the Baltimore Blast of the short-handed variety.
Some of the best individual action of the night. Paul Kitson dancing the dance, 5-2. Baltimore has their 3-goal lead back. And now the Steamers, with under a minute left in their power play, it has not been good to them so far. 2 excellent opportunities by Kitson. One of them he capitalized on. And here are the Blast breaking it up again, but she just simply clears it this time. So perhaps the Steamers dealt a fatal knockout punch here on a shorthanded situation. Still plenty of time left. Peso with a bomb. And then Van Aaron was able to knock down his own man's rebound.
Oh,
that was a rocket.
What a shot by Diego Pacer from way outside the penalty area.
And give credit to Van Aaron once again. Here's Pesa again. When he tees it up, look out. Here's a loose ball, and Walter scores for St. Louis. Van Aaron could not control the initial shot from Ebert, and then Walters made sure.
Good shot by Don Ebert at the near post. And the normally sure-handed Keith Van Aaron, at least this evening he certainly sure has been. Sure-handed, that is. There's number 00, Keith Van Aaron. Let's watch how the 3rd goal for the Steamers develops. Don Ebert shooting at the near post. The ball, as I mentioned, eludes the normally sure-handed Keith Van Aaron. And Tim Walters, or hardly anybody, will make a mistake with an opportunity on goal like this. There's Van Aaron bobbling the ball at the near post. Tim Walters simply steps in, puts it in the back, and it's 5-3 now.
So the teams are at full strength once again. The Steamers very happy to get out of that power play dead even at a goal apiece after Kitson scored shorthanded. But right now, Baltimore has scored their magic number as Whitman moves in. The rebound cleared out, but not completely by Cohen. 5 has been their magic number. All 3 of their victories in this series, they've scored exactly 5 goals. Slobo out of his own goal. Another dangerous play in the corner, but he's able to win that battle. Loose ball in front now. Cacciatore headmans it for Bick. Sam Bick at midfield, and the whistle pushing violation goes against Baltimore. 2:17 left, 3rd quarter. It's 5-3. Baltimore in the lead. They led 3-0 at halftime. Boy, this sellout crowd went bananas when Kitson got that shorthanded goal. Here is Hulser. He scored the 2nd goal for St. Louis. Now he miskicks one. And Cohen tries to thread a very fine needle, and it's intercepted nicely by McWilliams. And the violation goes against St. Louis.
And our viewers being treated to some excellent soccer tonight, Kevin. Some good goaltending, good attacking by the defenders, superb defense by each team, good work in the midfield areas, and good goal-scoring opportunities by all forwards.
Excellent goalkeeping, both from Van Aaron and Ilijevski in the respective nets tonight. We've seen nothing but great soccer games here on Sports Time. We seem to always draw the 1-goal games, Bill.
Dating back to April 3rd when we started in Wichita.
Stamenkovic battling along the near boards with 2 Steamer defenders, and Stamenkovic comes away with it and gets the pushing violation call against St. Louis. Sellout crowd on hand making some noise here in the Civic Center in Baltimore. As each minute goes by, they get closer to the championship. Ercole back on now, and Ken Cooper's troops have to be well rested because he substituted nicely in that 3rd quarter, and thus far, with a minute and a half left in the quarter, has come out only 1 goal short for the substitutions. He's still been able to maintain a 2-goal lead. He had a 3-goal lead at halftime. Bick, a shot nearly found the nets. Just whistled wide. Payson knocking it off the leg of McWilliams, and Stankovic now goes back. Here is Bick. Sam Bick, who just missed a moment ago, trying to cross it, knocked away by the defense. Peso with a shot in front. Here come the Baltimore Blast. Stankovic with a run. He's got Stankovic with him. Stankovic retreats outside of the St. Louis red line with 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Tries to penetrate. Hulser knocks it away.
Steamers are getting some good chances, Kevin, offensively, because they're spreading out this Baltimore defense, making room for themselves.
Here's Stankovic trying to beat two men. He does so, still has control, and Hulser knocks it away to Redmond lane. The Steamers trying to come back with a man advantage. Now Stankovic knocks him down in midfield, and he's going to get a penalty. I think he just couldn't stop Bill, and he just kept going and kept going. Then when Redmond lane stumbled, Stankovic had no alternative but to run into him, and it results in a 2-minute penalty. That'll severely test Baltimore. Here's another look at it, and you can see how inadvertent it was.
Stankovic coming up from behind on number 25 there, Kevin, Mike O'Mara, who's back on after a brief stint taking a rest. And I think you're right. He simply couldn't stop his momentum going forward, but nonetheless.
So, 5-3, Baltimore leads. There's Stankovic, who set the record, the all-time playoff scoring record this evening when he assisted on the goal by Ercole to make it 3-0, all-time point total. And of course he has since added another assist, so he can run that total to 34 now. Stan Stankovic with a pair of assists, but he has not been able to find the chords very often in this playoff series against St. Louis. Tony Bellinger shadowing him everywhere, but he scored when they needed it. He got 2 goals in that overtime game, the first and the last, in St. Louis last Wednesday. Keith Van Aaron, well, he's going to have to maintain his composure as the onslaught will now come from St. Louis on the power play. They scored a power play goal a few minutes ago, but they also gave one up, a shorthanded goal. So with 17 seconds left in this quarter, they go on the attack again. Duran with a shot, and it went high.
Now Diego Pesa, where he's ideally suited on this man advantage, on the right point. Duran will try to lay balls off at his feet, and he'll attempt to run on and hit him first time.
And there's his shot as the quarter expires. There'll be 1:42 left at the outset of the fourth quarter, in which St. Louis will have the man advantage. But at the end of 3 quarters, Baltimore in their quest for the MISL championship. They lead St. Louis 5-3. We'll be back after this on the Sports Time Cable Network. Blast, they lead 5-3 as we begin the fourth quarter. Kevin Slayton with Bill McDermott. Don't forget to stay with Sports Time this weekend for live Major League Baseball. Saturday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. The Kansas City Royals and the California Angels from Royals Stadium. Phil Stone and Dwayne Mosley bring you all the action. Sunday at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Ken Wilson and Ray Lane describe the action from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego as the Reds battle the Padres. Live Major League Baseball this weekend here on Sports Time. And don't forget, we'll be joining Ken Wilson and Ray Lane in San Diego later this evening following this game for the Reds and the Padres from the West Coast.
Any more Indian games coming up for you?
Reds have been hot. No, not for a while. We were in Cleveland, of course, all last week. Saw the California Angels. They've been playing well. You'll see them again against the Royals tomorrow night. Indians struggling a little bit up in Cleveland, but they've got a young ball club.
How could it be so cold in Cleveland and so hot here in Baltimore?
I've gone from the furnace to the icebox. 15 minutes left separating the Baltimore Blast and their first MISL championship. The Steamers on the power play at the outset of the fourth quarter here. 5-3 the Blast. St. Louis getting all 3 goals in that third quarter. They broke through on a deflection off a defender when Pesa got credit for the goal. Hulser followed with a goal. And then Walters on the power play. And they're on the power play now, and they regain possession with 1:35 left in the power play. As Bill said, keep an eye on Diego Pesa. He's to the lower portion of your screen. There he is. He loves to tee it up from this right point. A shot in front by Ebert is deflected, and Kitson clears it. Slobo keeping it alive in midfield for St. Louis now.
That's a set piece designed by the Steamers, Kevin.
There's Pesa, and he got help, Van Aaron did, from his defense, because that ball was in.
Pesa laying the ball off to Ebert, deep next to the near post. Ebert lays it across the face of the goal to the on-rushing Tim Walters. Nicely designed play.
Duran's shot deflected over the glass, belongs to St. Louis. 59 seconds left in the power play.
And the key now on this particular corner kick, Kevin, keep possession of the ball.
Game 5 of the MISL Championship Series, best of 7. Baltimore leading. Here's Redmond Lane, and McAvin blocked it again. He's been very good defensively, especially in the shorthanded situations. Baltimore leading the series 3-1, pressing for the championship. Pace's shot deflected by Whitman over the glass and into the crowd.
That split second that Pace had to receive that ball from Duran allowed the defender to get closer to him.
Tim Whitman, the defender who blocked it, a homegrown product here in the Baltimore area. Just 20 years old, playing for the championship. Pesa in front, blocked nicely. That saved another goal. That Baltimore defensive unit has really been helping Van Aaron.
They certainly have, Kevin, because that's a nice play by the Steamers. Duran simply knocking the ball back to the on-rushing Diego Pesa, who had that far post just wide open, but at the last second, the Blast defense come up, help out Van Aaron, who was prone, laying on the ground. They come up and cover up at the far post.
The Blast pressing for a shorthanded goal. They scored one a little while ago. Just 25 seconds now left in the Steamer power play. Stamenkovic in the penalty box. He got a 2-minute tripping penalty. Duran moves in. That's blocked by Whitman. Here's Whitman. He gets it, but he knocks it too far ahead, and Slobo will retreat and get it. Been exciting power play action when the Steamers have been on the power play. As they count it down, and they've killed it off. 3-line violation against Baltimore will result in the Steamers' possession at the Blast red line. But Baltimore now with 1 second left, and they are now back to full strength. Mejia controls it. Here they come. They want to go quickly. He's got McWilliams on the right wing. Mejia moves in. Off the boards. Too high for McWilliams. Great action on those power plays, both ends, though. Baltimore able to score a shorthanded goal. Here's Ebert with his back to the goal. Sometimes he always seems to be have the last trick up his sleeve and get it through there. That time he got it through, but didn't finish it off. Stamenkovic working on Draghi, and Draghi takes it away, but he's called for the push. In front, it's blocked at the defense, but they say no. They'll have to redo it. The Blast trying to take advantage too quickly. Stan Stamenkovic, the trigger man. Gino DiPolito moving Jeff Cacciatore a little further back.
The Steamers have certainly had enough opportunities on these shorthanded situations against the Blast, Kevin, but the defense of the Blast and the keeper, Keith Van Aaron, performed superbly.
Pesa ahead for Cacciatore now. Jeff Cacciatore in front for Bollinger, but there's Van Aaron again with a great save, and Pesa knocked into him, and thus that's the call. Dangerous play against Diego Pesa, but give the credit to Van Aaron again. He was in the right place at the right time to rob Bellinger.
He was, Kevin, and another excellent chance by the Steamers. Forwards running onto the ball. No chance to get them the ball, so Tony Bellinger comes up from the back, joins the attack. He runs into an open space and gets a shot on goal.
And physical contact along the boards as Ercole is knocked down by Draghi, and the trip is called against St. Louis for pushing violation, actually. But no 2-minute penalty handed out, and that had the crowd up on their feet. 12:19 left. Baltimore must kill that time and give up just 1 goal or less, and they will be the champions of the MISL. The Steamers trying to force a 6th game. Bellinger takes it away from Stamenkovic, and here's Cacciatore coming out with a loose ball. Cacciatore headmanning it across for Pesa. Leaves it for Draghi. Here's Pesa with Bellinger overlapping. He crosses for Bellinger a little bit too far. Bellinger off the glass, but Mejia read it nicely. Here's McEwen with the intercept. The Steamers need that 4th one to pull within 1. Then, in about 5 minutes or so, you'd probably see the keeper pull. Draghi with a blast to hit the crossbar.
Good work by the Steamers to be calm and composed on these attacks and thereby get the chances, Kevin. They're not being too hurried with their forays going forward. They're taking their time, getting the good opportunities. Now they regroup and start the attack again.
McEwen ahead for Ebert in the corner. Ebert off the glass. Taken away by Machia, and he clears it out. And here's a run from Stankovic again. He's got Ercole up ahead of him. He waits for McWilliams. Here's McWilliams sliding through, but the pass was too far. McWilliams and Stankovic work together so well. And 9 times out of 10, it's Ercole that benefits from all of their work. He's been the leading goal scorer in the playoffs. He's got one tonight to give him 16. Here he is. His shot deflected now and taken by Stankovic. Mike Stankovic battling with Cacciatore. And now Stankovic turns on the afterburners, turns it back, and Ebert comes away with it. Nice hustle from Ebert to come back and help out.
Exactly. Good work by Cacciatore to contain Mike Stankovic to enable his teammate to come back and help out on defense.
Sam Bick with a shot blocked at the defense. Here's McEwen trying to get it for Ebert. Ebert turning. It hits the glass and bounces high into the air, but Van Aren is able to grab it. Here comes Ercole. Ercole around Duran. A shot, he hit it wide. Here's Kitson on the rebound. Across is blocked by Cohen. Ercole had a golden opportunity, but he hit it just wide. Less than 10 minutes left, separating Baltimore from the championship. Here comes Darrell Duran, leaving it for Bick, but Bick didn't see it, and now Kitson is knocked down. And the whistle goes against St. Louis for tripping.
Good work by Pat Ercole, Kevin, on that particular play, as well as throughout this entire playoff season.
McWilliams loses it. Darrell Duran leaving it for Bick. Here's Ebert, back for Bick, again for Ebert. And it hits the tough part of the boards there. Oh, Duran with a loose ball, he hit it wide! Boy, Duran got a Christmas gift handed to him. Slobo misplays it. Fink is all over him. And there's an open goal, and McWilliams scores!
Well, Kevin, you've heard of being in the right place at the right time. Dave McWilliams simply happens to run on to that ball, which was misplayed in the midfield area. And number 6, Dave McWilliams, finds a present at midfield and simply slots it in the back of the net. Good alert play by Dave McWilliams. He reacted to the opportunity very quickly. He puts the Blast on top by a score of 6-3. Now here's Joe Fink battling Slobo. As you mentioned, Kevin, he was all over him. Fink keeps the ball alive, breaks loose to McWilliams, who runs onto it. As I mentioned, he was running onto the ball. He was trying to get involved in the play. He was going to help out Joe Fink. So a good 6th goal by the Baltimore Blast.
Slobo getting burned well out of his own goal, and then he did not play it well against the far boards, and he ended up losing it, and he gives up the goal as McWilliams ran onto it. The Blast with a timeout over on the sidelines, changing jerseys for Van Aren. I imagine with the heat in this building, the other jersey so soaked with sweat that it became a hindrance to him and was just too much weight. There's a standing ovation from this sellout crowd here in Baltimore with 9:17 left. They have a 3-goal lead, and they appear to be headed for a championship as Dave Clements looks on with a forlorn look on his face. Well, he gambled. He came with 4 defenders. And perhaps a bit of stamina starting to take its toll on those 4. The Steamers arguing that play should be restarted. Better than 12,000, a club record here. Looking on at the Civic Center in Baltimore. Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott, glad you could look on with us. As the MISL Championship, with just 9 minutes left, is close to being decided for this season. Long pass ahead. You could look for the Steamers, I would imagine, Bill, at some moment soon to pull the goalkeeper. Here comes Kitson. He gets it over for Kunevec. There's Kitson. He got a shorthanded goal earlier. Bellinger takes it away, but here is Thompson moving on to it. And the foul and the whistle goes against Baltimore.
You're right, Kevin. The Steamers will be entertaining that idea as quickly as possible as they're down by a score of 6-3 with 8:53 remaining. You lose by 3, you lose by 12 at this juncture of the season. What difference does it make? But try to get an extra attacker involved in the flow of the attack.
Dave Clements does not like to do that, but he's got to do it soon. It's knocked away, and here comes Fink. Of course, you leave yourself open to those quick goals from the other side, but it doesn't matter, like you say. When you're down 3 with 8.5 minutes left, you pull it all out.
And the Blast, when they play against that particular ploy by their opponent, they don't always sit back, Kevin. They still come forward and attempt to go forward and get some goals.
Here's Bellinger, and he hits it wide. The Steamers making moves over there to change goal. That one hit high of the mark. Sam Bick slipping on the goalkeeper's jersey. There's a shot blocked at the defense, so they're just about ready to make that change. Bellinger in front. Bellinger again up for Pesa, but it's knocked away by Thompson. Here's Stankovic now. Hulser knocks it away. Steamers need a stoppage in play to get that goalkeeper change. Stankovic turning off the boards. Hulser taps it to Slobo, and I would imagine you'd see the timeout called there, but they didn't do it. Now they do. Slobo didn't want to come out. So with 7:42 left, you'll see a goalkeeper change for St. Louis. They'll bring on the extra attacker. They trail Baltimore 6-3. We'll be back for more after this.
There was Joey Fink continuing to hound Slobo Ilijevski. He's clearly way off his line. Dave McWilliams runs from the midfield spot onto the ball, easily puts it in the back of the net, and that was his second of the game, the 6th of the evening for the Blast, who are well in command now with 7:42 remaining. And as you just mentioned, there you see Sam Bick, the extra attacker now, going in goal. He wears number 17. He's a defender for the Steamers, going into goal.
Billy Phillips, the backup goalkeeper, out there warming him up. Of course, they hope that they don't need any goalkeeping action from Bick. The idea is to get an extra offensive attacker out there. But as Bill said, Baltimore is not the type of team that plays in a shell when they're in this type of a situation. You look for Paul Kitson out there when the Steamers had a power play earlier. He was out there on the penalty-killing unit, and he turned it into a goal for Baltimore, a shorthanded goal. Even though the Steamers came back to score on that power play, it was a dead-even draw for the 2-minute period, and that's all you can hope for when you're playing shorthanded. Kitson's specialty is the shorthanded goal. There's Sam Bick. That's what he's done in the playoffs. Gino DiPolito alongside. Just a reminder, we'll be joining Major League Baseball from San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium live just following this soccer game. Ken Wilson and Ray Lane on hand to call the action, the Reds and the Padres. So 7:40 remains, and Sam Bick is out there as the extra attacker. Here is Duran being knocked off the ball, and the whistle goes against Baltimore. They simply want to kill 7.5 minutes as fast and quickly as possible and don't give up more than 3 goals, and they win the championship. It's as simple as that. That's what it's come down to. Redmond Lane, the trigger man in front for Ebert. Here's Pesa, and that's one of the rare times you'll see that right foot misfire. Kitson with a high shot goes into the scoreboard and bounces down. And it'll belong to St. Louis at the Baltimore red line.
Sometimes, Kevin, on that last particular play, you saw Diego Pesa rifle the ball across the face of the goal. That can be just as dangerous as a shot on goal because you have a teammate running onto it, making a diagonal run. Almost impossible for a keeper to make a save on a shot of that description.
Bick now controlling it. There is Redmond Lane. He's joined by Ebert, Duran, Ricky Davis out there, along with Pesa. Kitson and Stankovic, Stamenkovic, Mechia, and Kunovac out there defensively for Baltimore. Here's Ebert along the far boards, wants to turn with it. He's been held pretty quiet all night long. Crosses for Sam Bick. Here is Pesa at the right point. He tees it up, but Mechia blocks it all the way down to the other end.
Steamers doing what they're setting out to do, Kevin, and that is spread open this Baltimore Blast defense on this smaller, confined area, smaller and much more confined than the arena, spreading them out and getting the chances.
Third trip to the finals in the last 4 years for St. Louis, and it appears, unless a miracle occurs, that they will come up empty for the 3rd time. They lost twice to the New York Arrows, and they're down 3-1 to Baltimore and 6-3 here in this game with 6.5 minutes left. So a very frustrating turn of events for St. Louis, though the overtime game in Game 4, the key game thus far in the series, that seemed to turn the tide. And you could almost see the life being taken out of the St. Louis players after that loss Wednesday night.
In particular, Kevin, to a man, the Steamers all said that that was just about our best ever, not just in the playoffs, but the entire year. We were running hard, playing well, good intensity, had more chances on goal than what we really showed, but took advantage of our chances, scored, and then have veritably be the life drained from them in overtime.
There is Fink with a deflection. It's now a race to the ball, and he scores! Joey Fink icing on the championship cake.
Well, that's what it was, Kevin, as you described. Simply a race to the ball between Fink and Sam Beck. Number 14, Joey Fink, a veteran of this major indoor soccer league, with 6:07 remaining in the fourth quarter, scores his second goal and the 7th in this 5th game. Ball deflects to the foot of number 14, Joe Fink, not directly, but almost so, as he wins the race to get back ahead of Sam Beck. There you see it again. Sam wondering if, should I go to the goal or to the player?
And here's Fink again, back to the action, and he taps another one in after he scored. So Fink's got about the quickest hat trick that you can imagine, with 2 goals here at the end to make it a rout. And this crowd is on its feet. They're loving every minute of it, and Joey Fink has to be so happy. His second hat trick of this championship series. He got it the easy way tonight.
You're right, Kevin. He had to work much harder for it on Wednesday night. That is to get his hat trick. And there you see number 14. Put it in the back of the goal. I don't think you'd miss an opportunity like that, would you?
I'd be awful tough. I'd have to fall down and it'd still probably roll in. 8-3 Baltimore. Who would have believed it was a 3-2 game? And now Dave Clement's going to take his goalkeeper out, Sam Beck, and put Slobo back in.
So now it's 8-3. The Steamers will try to get back in the game, try to whittle away at the 5-goal cushion as much as possible by the blast, but it is a difficult task indeed with 5:54 remaining.
So they've given up on that theory. And just about every trick in the bag has been exhausted, and Baltimore has held on and now made it a rout. 8-3, the blast with 5:49 left. Well, they won the World Championship in baseball. They are on the verge of winning it here in indoor soccer. There's a drive by Redmond Lane that is blocked, and that seems typical of this night. Very good opportunities for St. Louis, but the defensive unit of Baltimore has just been too good. They've been an impenetrable force all evening long, and the shots that do get through, Keith Van Aaron has been sensational. Look at Fink. He wants a 4th. He may get it. Slobo on the ground. There's the shot, twisting for the goal!
Number 14, Joey Fink, turning this into a goal-scoring exhibition. With 5:26, he gets his 4th of the evening. Well, make it 9-3.
He simply embarrassed Slobo. And look at the fans. They're dancing in the aisles. A brilliant shot from midfield. He just looped it over the final defender. Well, it didn't work to put Slobo back in. Dave Clements must feel like nothing's going to work, because nothing has. 9-3. Baltimore. Campbell bringing just 4 defenders. That didn't work. When he pulled Slobo, they got 2 goals. When he put him back in, here's what happened.
Ball breaks loose at the midfield area, and just eludes Redmond Lane as he was trying to get back and head it clear.
It's a curtain call for Joey Fink. 4 goals. We'll be back for the final 5.5 minutes after this. It's more frustration than anything else at this point. They are behind 9-3 as Joey Fink has turned it into a one-man show here in the final 3 minutes of this 4th quarter. He's scored 3 goals. To add on to his goal in this first quarter, he has 4 goals in this game. He has been outstanding. Here is Whitman now. The Steamers getting caught with everybody up, and Joey Fink has made them pay dearly for it. Crowd has not sat down for the last 2.5 minutes. The championship here in Baltimore. Here they come again. Thompson with a shot, but he sends it high in the glass. And the crowd sings goodbye. The Steamers valiantly coming in here down 3-1 in a series that was closer than a 3-1 deficit.
Certainly was, Kevin. And it was the Steamers' defense that enabled them to win the first game of the series here in Baltimore. The table's being turned on them here this evening.
The Steamers coming in here confident that they could win, but Joey Fink has shown them a different path. 9-3, Baltimore over St. Louis, just 4:14 remaining. And it's going to be an exciting 4 minutes if you're a Baltimore Blast fan, because it's just one loud throng, sellout, better than capacity crowd here that's on its feet. St. Louis will try to save face a little bit and try to score here in the waning moments. There's a shot. Everything's gone against them. When they get the opportunities, they miss on the close-in occasion that Cacciatore had right there. Here is Kitson. He has a shorthanded goal tonight. But the 4-goal story of Joey Fink, an American-born player telling the story of this MISL Championship Series. The Blast with 3.5 minutes, and soon, Bill, you expect Ken Cooper to give Keith Von Aaron a chance to bow out gracefully himself. 3.5 minutes. He's been splendid in the Baltimore Nuts. You take him out and let him go off to a standing ovation at some point, I would think.
He has played well, Kevin. He's made some excellent saves. Steamers certainly had more chances than the 3 goals showing on the scoreboard. They've had some excellent opportunities, but the Blast defense has been playing very well, and the keeper, Keith Van Aaron, has been equal to almost every task.
Everyone that's gotten through, he seems to have gotten a hand on. 3 have snuck past him. Here is Ebert. Ebert making a nice move, and his shot is high, hits the glass. Bellinger, there's Van Aaron again. Bellinger had a good chance at it, but that's frustrating when you get good chances and you have them taken away either by the defensive work or the goalkeeper on a great save. Well, Hulser just frustrated trying to kick it through Kitson. That doesn't work. Now he moves around Kitson. And Kunevak just sends Ebert into the glass. And that'll go against Kunevak. It's been a nightmare in Baltimore for St. Louis, but for the Baltimore Blast and their fans, a very big celebration just 2 minutes, 36 seconds away. Dave Clements looking on, coaching in his first championship series. There is Keith Van Aaron. That's who they're all applauding with 2:33 remaining.
Well, Scott Manning mentioned that not only was he tired playing back-to-back games in St. Louis, but he wanted to give Keith Van Aaron a chance. He thought that Van Aaron had been bad rap by the fans, wasn't in top form early on in the season, and he wanted to give him a chance in what could have been the 5th and final game in this series. Well, it's turning out to be that way, and he's performed very well.
He kept them in it when it was close, and then the floodgates opened, and the waters pushed through here with Joey Fink scoring a hat trick in about 2 minutes' time with the Steamers pressing forward. Slobo has made mistakes in goal for St. Louis. He's been brilliant on occasions here in this game, but he's been caught out of the net twice, and early in the game with a scoreless ball game, he came out of his net thinking the whistle had blown, waving his hand as if the whistle had blown, and simply gave up a gift goal to Dave McWilliams that got Baltimore started. And since then, they've been hard to catch. The Steamers got as close as 3-2, but that's as close as they could get. And the Blast now running away with it, 9-3. Here's Pesa with a steal. And Fink is there to run him off of it. Van Aaron slides out to knock it away. What a night for Joey Fink. You couldn't dream it up any better, Bill.
Boy, he has taken advantage, I should say, of every opportunity he's had and capitalized very nicely. He was playing with confidence, as was Ercole in this entire playoff series. And when you're capable of doing that, you're confident with the ball at your feet, and you go forward and take on players.
Van Aaron punching it out, being the aggressor in goal. Less than 2 minutes left. Well, Baltimore was a little bit stunned, I think, when St. Louis came in here and won game 1 right in their own backyard and won it convincingly, 7-3. The Blast evened it up with a 5-3 victory, then went into St. Louis and won 5-2 and 5-4 in overtime, and that was the key one, the heartbreaker. And then they've come out here flying. They've been flying since the opening whistle tonight. They were not to be denied this evening. Here's Whitman. Duran trying to knock it back, and the Steamers control with a minute and a half left. 4 goals for Joey Fink. That's been the story. They're really getting loud here now at the Civic Center in Baltimore. It's been one continuous roar since the exploits of Fink. And here they come for more. McWilliams with Fink. Here comes Fink looking for a 5th. He's got it! I can't believe it. Joey Fink with 5 goals, 4 of them in the 4th quarter.
Kevin, there's 1:08 left. How many more goals is he going to get? Dave McWilliams simply sent the ball into the open space. Joe Fink ran onto it, beat Slobo at the near post, and that's a 10th for the Blast and a 5th for Joe Fink.
5 goals in the championship game for Joey Fink, and he's the toast of this Bayside town right now.
Let's watch it again. Now here's Dave McWilliams making the initial run. Again, the attack starts in the back. They found McWilliams unmarked at the midfield area. He lays it off to Fink, who touches it once, then twice, then puts it through the legs of Slobo, who was covering the near post. But now it's 10-3, just about a minute left in this championship game.
If you're interested, the MISL record for goals in one game is 7 by Steve Jungle. So Fink's still too shy of that, but he's still got a minute left. He's exploded for 4 unanswered goals to make it a 10-3 ball game. That's amazing. 45 seconds. Here's Stamenkovich. You'd think they'd look for Fink, but he's not out there. Somebody else has to do it now.
Who would have thought it possible, Kevin? 5 goals in this 5th and what's turning out to be a championship game.
And you can read it right there in the face of Clements and in the face of Ken Cooper. No need to explain who's winning and who's losing. Dave Clements gambled and lost. Here's Redmond Lane, and that one hit his own man as it was headed for the goal, Mike O'Mara.
And that's pretty much indicative of what's been happening to the Steamers all night long. They've had chances. They've even been, sometimes they've been thwarted by the defense, by the keeper, and on certain occasions, balls have been deflecting off their own teammates.
And for Baltimore, things have gone right. They've played an extremely effective game, very aggressive right from the opening whistle. And they've wrapped it up in splendid fashion with Joey Fink rattling the cords 4 times in the 4th quarter, 5 times in the game. And that gives you an idea of how Steve Jungle dominated this game the first 4 years of its existence, that despite the sensational effort by Fink, he's still 2 goals shy of the record in the playoffs.
His name was simply synonymous with offense. Goals, assists, whatever, and he really revolutionized indoor soccer.
Here is Kitson with a 3-on-2. He leaves it for Stankovic on the near side. Stankovic trying to work his way in against Cohen. It's getting physical down there in the final minute. Just 10 seconds remain, and now we're going to have a battle down on the boards. No need for any of that with 5 seconds left. Stankovic and Cohen, and now Kitson gets into the middle of it. Well, Stankovic has just put a damper on this party.
Boy, hasn't he? Isn't that terrible that he has to do that? They're winning the game convincingly. It's really unfortunate. You know what happened, Kevin, in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and also with the New York team when they were playing in the finals against Baltimore. It's really unfortunate that this has to happen.
It puts a damper on the entire game with 8 seconds now remaining officially. They allowed the clock to tick down, and they've reset it to 8. But that's just unfortunate. Get him off the field. Stankovic having an explosive temper here in the last minute. They'll take him off. Well, one thing, you know, you like to see aggressive play, but even once it gets out of hand, you don't kick at another player. And that's what he did. That's back in the 3rd grade.
Here's how it all got started, Kevin. Duncan McEwen battling with Mike Stankovic. And Neil Cohen comes over to jump and grab Mike Stankovic. And the rest, well, what happens? I don't know.
Well, Paul Kitson here comes into the act, and he shouldn't have been involved. Well, O'Mara there. So O'Mara did start it on his own accord as he strikes from behind, and that's not a very courageous act. Either way. It's just unfortunate that it has to happen. O'Mara for St. Louis and Stankovic for Baltimore. Stankovic retaliating to O'Mara's cheap shot with 8 seconds left. 10-3 Baltimore. That's the story. Joey Fink, when all this is forgotten, will be remembered.
as scoring 5 goals in what has turned out to be the 5th and final game in this best 4 out of 7 championship series.
And if they're looking for the ball, it's in the jersey of Paul Kitson. It's in his back, under his jersey, as he stands at the red line in the lower portion of your screen.
Redmond Lane talking to Stan Stamenkovich.
Redmond Lane, one of the cooler heads that always prevail in situations like this. Don't forget, right at the end of this game, we'll be going to San Diego for baseball, the Padres and the Reds. There is Stan Stamenkovich. He set the record that Steve Jungle held for most total points in a playoff series. Of course, they play more playoff games now, so someone was bound to break that record that Jungle held. And that's the story. Truer words were not spoken on this evening. The Baltimore Blast are indeed the champions of the MISL. As the Steamers come up empty for the 3rd time in 4 years in the finals. Baltimore losing out last year to San Diego. Both teams have known frustration in the championship round, Bill. They had, Kevin, and you knew that one of them, of course, was going to drink the toast of the champagne this year.
Exactly right. And when Ken Cooper coached the Houston Summit back in 1980, he brought his team to the championship final, lost to the New York Arrows, and that is this team. The Houston Summit moved here to Baltimore. So he's been there more than once.
Ken Cooper and Dave Clements back out on the field. This only embarrasses the game. 10-3 the score with 8 seconds left, and it has to end on a note like this.
Bill Maxwell talking over with number 18, Neil Cohen, and there's Joe Fink being interviewed by one of the local newscasters before the game's even over.
Well, Neil Cohen is being escorted off now. With all of the confusion, it appears that he's been ejected from the game. And
I don't know if I want any part of walking.
If that's the case, they got the wrong man. He simply held Stankovic. O'Mara is still in the game. He's down on the St. Louis bench. So once again, it's not the original sinner, it's the one who retaliates. And all that Cohen did was grab Stankovic, but he's the only one ejected. It just, well, that's what happens in those situations.
So after all is said and done, Kevin, 8 seconds remaining, 10-3, the Blast is on top.
O'Mara gets out of this without even a penalty. Cohen gets a 5-minute ejection, and apparently Stankovic has also been given a 5-minute penalty, but O'Mara escapes unscathed and will finally play this 8 seconds. 10-3 Baltimore. The story is they are the MISL champs. Joey Fink with a 4-goal outburst in the 4th period and a 5th earlier. He is indeed the story. Not the tainted way this game has ended. Been the longest 8 seconds I've ever seen, Bill.
Just waiting for the game to conclude. The Blast were here last year, Kevin, in the finals against the San Diego Sockers.
They count it down in Baltimore, and a new champion has been crowned in the MISL, the Baltimore Blast. Coach Ken Cooper and assistant coach Dan Count's embrace. And now the sportsmanship takes over that should be prevalent always.